Hello and welcome to the TheKnitGirlls. This is episode mumble.
342.
342. Sorry. We're trying to flip between the show notes and the actual recording. I'm Laura, also known as Lala. I almost said also known.
I was going to fill it in for you if you missed.
So close to messing that up. We are recording at my house today because Leslie's house is very, very warm.
Yeah, we'll get into that tale of woe in a little bit. I'm Leslie, also known as You Don't Call Me Les. Today is Monday, April the 3rd, 2017. My house is very warm because the air conditioner in my home, which is original to the house, which is 20 years old, decided it was just done.
As you do.
And,
Guess I figured out how to make it small.
That's moderately inconvenient because I have a 2-level home and both units are broken with different problems.
Oh,
so
I didn't know
that's
that.
super awesome.
That is super awesome.
The first quote that we got was more than a car. We've gotten several more quotes since then, but the cheapest that we will get off is around $8,000. That's a lot of money. On top of that, my refrigerator has decided that it's completely done. It's 10 years old. And we had to buy a lawnmower because grass is starting to grow.
Oh, you could have borrowed mine.
No.
We could have shared a mower.
Transporting it every week would get old. But
I only mow my grass like every 2 weeks.
And then I got a quote for a fence because I really want a fence so I can stop walking the dogs. I'm sorry if you can't see us because of a big furry behind. And the fence quote was $14,000. So it's been a super fun week with no arguments at all about money in my household. None.
Super fun.
But anyway, believe it or not, this is a knitting show. It is not a cat butt show.
Oh, Humberto.
It is not a gripe about money show. So we're just going to move on from that. You want to talk about what you're knitting?
Sure. I just pulled out some socks. These are out of HD yarns. And the first one is almost
Oh, that's
done.
a long sock.
It does look really long, doesn't it? This is what happens when you're at a conference for like...
And you're just in the zone.
Ever. And you're just in the mood to knit. So, let's see. I'm in the middle of a row, too. Oh, is he ripping up the carpet?
Yeah.
No. Welcome to my life. Eek.
So, does this have a colorway name?
Maybe it's right there. Hold on. While you're talking, I'll go get it. Maybe.
I'll go get it.
Oh, okay.
I like how that subtle
That was my
suggestion.
evil plan all along. So this is HG Yarns. And this is the first sock. I was at an autism conference all week long. So I got the first sock pretty much done. I started at the River Kings game last Saturday. So one sock is done.
Flower power.
For the ribbing. And yeah, this is HG Yarns.
This is how it used to come.
Yep. And it used to come in like 2 skeins and it would show you what it looks like as you knit it. Although, I feel like the orange on that is a lot bigger than my orange. I don't know. So, and this is the second skein. That's already pre-wound. So I, why it's so tall is that I was at this conference and I only took 1 skein with me. One of the half skeins.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't take anything else to work on. Because it was like the 31st and my Flintstone socks were done. We'll talk about those in a little bit. But I couldn't cast on my next Desert Vista Dye Works pair of socks. So it was just chaos. So it's got a lot of work on it. And it's hanging out in my Christmas Fat Squirrel Fibers packs because that's how we roll.
Whatever. I don't like when you feel like you have to only use it during the season.
This is totally not the sock that I was going to talk about. I grabbed the wrong bag.
Oh.
I don't know where my other bag went. I'm sure it's behind. Hey, this is a sock from like 2 years ago that I still haven't worked on. Oh.
Which one? Now I feel like you need to show it. I want to see it.
Okay. Well, one's done. Do you remember these?
Oh, yeah. This was the Republic of Wool.
No, this is,
Oh, no. Life in the Long Grass.
Nope.
That's
you
the
are
colorway
still
name, I
wrong.
thought.
Nope. It's Black Trillium Fibers.
Oh.
Merlin Sock Phantom. And the Merlin sock in the Phantom colorway.
Well, it can't have been on the needles for 2 years because you got it in Portland last year.
Okay, so it's been on the needles for a year and
A
2
few
weeks.
days, yeah.
So this was the first one. And I totally stole the needles to do something else. I don't know where they are. So I'll have to... Oh, and it's got my little...
needle keeper thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Flock lock. Flock lock thing.
Flock lock. I need to find those needles so that I can put them back in here. And then
you should put this with it so you don't...
And that's why we store tags in bags.
Tags and bags. There's our episode name.
There you go. I have no idea where that other sock that I was going to talk about went off to.
What about your... the new April Desert Vista socks?
That's what I'm looking for.
Are they in another bag somewhere?
Yes. They're in the National Parks bag. Is it by your feet? That's totally not by your feet.
It might be out here.
No, I brought it in. What is happening? Yes? That was my sure voice.
Is it one of these?
No. Now we're playing a game where Leslie's looking at like 500 bags of works in progress over there.
Okay, I feel like you're going to have to look and come back to that.
Okay.
As fun as this is for all the viewers at home.
I don't know where it went. That's
it's
super
your house,
weird.
dude. I don't know.
It is my house. So today, in my Bink waffle bag, I took this to school and then didn't work on it.
Oh. We don't chew our friends' projects.
We don't jump on our friends either, but that's stopping no one. So I cast on my worsted boxy. So I have like 4 rows done. And I'm doing the 4th size in. What you
Pearl
can't
would
see
like to
is
participate.
Pearl. Come here. Can you come up? Can you
She's
come
like,
up?
I now
Hi.
have permission forever to do this.
You saying hi to people?
I love you,
Hi.
Mommy. Oh,
But I love Auntie Leslie more. Anyway.
my favorites.
Oh. Alright. So, I started the worsted boxy. Just a few rows in. Once I get through the ribbing, and I am going to do 8 rows of ribbing and not the 4 rows that it calls for, I am going to start alternating skeins because it is so wildly variegated in case there is any
Crazy blocking or crazy pooling.
but also in case there's any
Dye lot difference.
yeah, dye lot, because I don't have the tags for any of this. This was yarn that was already wound. This is how it came to me. It's already wound and in little sandwich bags like this.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to make sure that I'm not getting like weird blocks of color, but also variations between the color. And this is what I'm going to work on, I think, today, if I can't find my other socks, which is going to drive me crazy. Oh, it's there underneath me!
Oh.
Yes! Hey, here's that other bag that I was looking for. This is a Fat Squirrel Fibers National Parks bag. I could have just told you Fat Squirrel Fibers bags, and then you would have been looking for days. Because
Yeah.
I have quite a few in here. And this has my new socks, which are so far along. But these are Desert Vista Dye Works in the Day of the Dead colorway. So I'm starting with, there was actually a little bit of black at the toe, and then pink, and it's going to go black and then green.
So is it black every other color?
I think so.
Okay. Yeah, Dios de la Muertos.
Something like that.
Dios de la Muerta. Sorry, there's no S at the end of that.
So this is that colorway. This is going to be my April socks. Hopefully that'll be month number 4.
Mm-hmm.
So getting there. I wanted to cast them on. Well, I was trying to keep just one sock project in my bag at the conference for Saturday. And then I went to a LuLaRoe party, but I was very engaged in the convention on Saturday, counting down the minutes till it was over. No, it was good. It's just Saturday mornings are tough for me. But there were some really interesting points of view I went to some of the more legal issue type advocacy type stuff, and that was really interesting from an advocate standpoint. Anyway, I am knitting on those. They just got started. They're going to be on size 0s. I haven't decided. They are toe up, but I haven't decided which heel I'm going to do yet. So if you have a suggestion for a toe up heel that I should try.
I think you should try one out of the sock architecture book, the Laura Neal book.
Okay. Well, if there's one of those that someone prefers, let me know, and I will move that on up. But I don't think that's going to get... I'm going to finish these before this, unless it turns the 15th of the month, and then I'm going to work on this. And the multitudes of other projects that are around here. So that is it for me. I'm enjoying all my projects. The yarn that I'm working with has really been nice. All of it. I can't wait to see. I have a feeling this Malabrigo worsted is going to wear very interestingly in a sweater, a loose knit sweater gauge, because it's a single and it's a merino, which is a short staple. So we'll see.
I'm very interested to see if you'll actually wear something with that many colors in it.
Also,
I'm just going to be very blunt there.
Interesting concept. Oh, so when I chose my size, this is what I went by. I took the class with, did we already discuss this, how you measure from your... Okay, so I decided... No, do we not? Okay. Alright, let me pull up the pattern. So the pattern has you... Like, it's got a lot of ease built in. Like, a lot of ease built in. I'm also knitting this seamlessly. So for those of you who are not familiar with this pattern, that is what it looks like. It's by Joji Locatelli. I'm using size 8 needles instead of size 9 because I knit loose. And so it's size like XL, small, medium, large, extra large. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I'm doing the large. And what I'm going by, so the body circumference at that point is 68 inches. So if I measure, what's half of 68? 15
34.
Plus. Okay. So 34, and then half of that would be 17. All right, so if I measure 17, will you hold that for me, please? Oh, so I found the center part of my chest, and I measure 17, and that's like right at my elbow. That's the circumference that I want to use. It's a little bit actually higher. Nope, it's right at my elbow. So I'm using my elbow circumference, which is 10 inches, to determine my size, because the only place where it's really fitted, man, that box is going to be all the way out to here, is going to be like right here at the elbow.
Yeah, that's where mine, like, it's very loose until the small sleeves.
Because it's one big box until there, and that's where the small sleeves
just above the elbow, but I have smaller, like, well, there's very little small about me, but, like, I'm short, so my arm span is shorter.
Yeah. So that's how I did the sizing on mine. So that number for me is like 10 inches on the pattern. It is, for the schematic, my sleeve circumference at elbow, the one that I chose is actually, I think it's actually 11 inches, is 11 1/4. Yeah, 11 3/4. So it'll have a little bit of ease in case I want to wear something with sleeves underneath it. That's how I did the sizing. And that's how what Joji specifically talked about. Not necessarily sizing from there, but making sure that that's the most fitted measurement and making sure that number... will you measure my elbow around? I think it's 11 inches.
Right here?
Yeah.
Yeah, just shy of 11.
Okay.
Like an 1/8 of an inch.
So they'll give me a little bit positive ease. Which, because gauge lies, will become crazy positive gauge, I'm sure, at some point. Anyway, so I have 6 skeins of this wool. I'm hoping to just use 4 on the body, like up to the arms, and then maybe 1 for the front and back, and then 1 for the sleeves.
Oh yeah, because you split it. Sleeves.
So that's what I'm anticipating. We'll see. I might use more than that, but I can always make my sleeves like, I'm not planning on making them longer than probably 4 inches anyways. So hopefully that won't, and it's a small circumference. I'm guessing that'll take at least right around at most 100 yards.
Yeah, I don't take very much.
So that's it for me. That was a very long drawn out process, but
that's okay.
You got to see about my messy room, so there's that.
Yeah, I keep having a friendly elbow licker over here.
She never licks for me. Why are you giving other people your kisses?
Just so tasty. It cannot be helped. So I really only have one thing that I'm working on at the moment. I put my luxurious hat yarn to the side for the moment because I really wanted to get some work done on the Meraki tank, which is a tank that's knit out of this nettle grove, which is cotton, linen, silk, and nettle fiber. And it's by Plymouth. Very reasonably priced. I think it's a DK weight or sport weight. Crap, I just stabbed myself.
Ooh.
So following the pattern, it has you knit until you're at 14 inches. I mean, it has you do some decreases in waist shaping, essentially.
Okay.
And then it says once you get to 14 inches, you're at your underarm. And I'm not at my underarm at 14 inches. Like if
mine's 19 inches, the underarm.
Well,
which is
like it depends on where you want it to hit.
lay, yeah.
Right? So I did a measurement. And if I did it at 14 inches, assuming it doesn't grow, which I think it will because it's got linen in it and it's going to have some weight to it.
Well, it's got some drape to it.
Right.
With the cotton, too. The cotton's what's going to grow.
It would still hit above the widest part of me, which is not super flattering. So I'm going to go until it's at 17 inches.
Will you have enough yarn?
And then try it. Oh, yeah, I bought extra.
Okay.
And then try it on and see how I like it. But I might go to as deep as 18 inches. Because for me, for busts, because the color on this for the bust is different. I didn't bring the other color. Because the bust color is different on one side. Mm-hmm. It's really important where I change yarn colors because it can be super unfortunate.
You don't want like the nipple line. Yeah. I feel it can be very unfortunate.
And it depends on how far below or above it too. It can just really not flatter you.
Yes.
So I'm gonna try it on at 17 inches and see how it lays, and then I may go up another inch. It just depends. And I made a mark with stitch markers at 14 inches. So I'm about an inch past that almost. So I've still got at least 2 full inches to go.
You're making good progress on that, though.
Yeah, and it actually feels really nice. The fabric is nice to work with.
It's got like, you can feel the like almost silky drape to it.
Yeah, it's
for sure.
One of the nicest linen blend yarns that I've worked with. And I haven't worked with a ton of blends. I've worked with linen before.
So we're going to House of Yarn in a couple weeks. Would you pick up more for another topic?
Absolutely.
For another top?
Yes, I absolutely would. If they still have any. But speaking of linen, Quince & Company did a week-long release of new patterns in their Kestrel base, which is a worsted Erin's weight yarn, and it's 100% linen. And so I got some to make a new pattern called Broad Turn, which I'm pretty sure is an Isabel Kramer pattern.
Oh, it's
like a ribbon chain.
Yeah, a ribbon yarn.
So I got the Ebb Tide.
That's pretty. And
this is what it looks like. They come in 76 yard put-ups.
Oh, that's a lot of ends to weave in.
Yeah, it is. And
but it's Aran weight, right?
It's worsted Aran, depends.
Okay,
like
so
I'm knitting it with a size 10. It asks you to knit with a size 9. I always go up to start with on gauge by 1 needle size. Because it's such a big gauge, though, I might be able to get away with a 9. It just depends.
Yeah.
But it's not like soft at all.
No, but it will when you wash it.
I just finished the swatch before I came over, so I haven't washed it or anything. And it's not a tank that you could wear by itself. You definitely have to wear like a cami or something under it.
Yeah, because it is pretty.
Yeah. It's not meant to be dense.
I can see holes.
Yeah. It knit up super fast. On the plus side, you know.
I mean, if you want to show all your goods, you could not wear anything.
You could. I mean, it's all choices, right? But yeah, I don't really think anybody wants to.
If you were on like RuPaul's Drag Race.
No, I would need a lot of tape to make those girls stand where they need to. I'm really hoping it softens a lot because it is.
Yeah, are you gonna wash it in a washing machine? Because I think that's how I would.
Well, it says machine wash cold and lay flat to dry.
So that's what I would do.
So, yeah, I'll probably throw it in with some...
Delicates?
Yeah. Or something. This evening. Because I actually got my son to do his own laundry yesterday.
Shut your face.
That's what being grounded from your computer will do for you.
Why were we grounded?
We have a standoff because I made the mistake of going into his room about a week ago. Not while he was there. I would always not, because he's a teenager and nobody needs to see that. But his door was open. He was at school or something, and the dog was in there. And I went in there to get the dog out because I assumed he was chewing something or eating something, and he was. He was eating trash because it was everywhere, all over the floor. So we had a very in-depth discussion about what creates bugs and what's acceptable and not acceptable. And although all of the trash and everything has been removed, there's still, like, he needs to vacuum his room and put new sheets on the bed, and he refuses to do it because he says it'll never be good enough, and I told him he can't get on a computer until he does it, so it's been about 4 days. So we'll see which one of us cracks first.
That's amazing.
It ain't gonna be me. So, this is Quince & Company Kestrel again. I'll wash it and see how it goes. I'm not gonna cast it on until at least I change colors on this, but I'll be working on another project soon, which is my April Desert Vista socks in the Lightning Struck Heart colorway.
Yay!
This is one that I put in for her monthly colorway suggestion things, and thus got a scheme free because of my colorway.
I did the Calvin and Hobbes last March, and that's how I got that.
Oh, I need to see what it is for this month. I haven't looked yet what the prompt is.
It is chick flicks. So here's another discussion.
Oh, crap.
So I put French Kiss.
From now on, you got to tell me when these go up.
I usually do. I don't know why I didn't.
Because you didn't want me to win?
No, because it was like Saturday at midnight when I realized, I think. So, chick flicks. So I put French Kiss, which is a great one. And I put something else. I can't remember now. But also a good one. And then I put Princess Bride. Would you consider Princess Bride a chick flick?
Be, yeah.
I think it could. Like, it's a romantic comedy,
I wouldn't necessarily categorize it as that alone, but I think that, yeah, it would fit fine in the chick flick category.
What was the second one that I did? I can't remember.
I have a great one, but I'm not telling you because then you'll steal it. So I'll have to put it up there.
No, I have 3 already.
For them.
Well, you could do it before we put up the podcast
I'm going to put the things in. I hope she picks it because it's got a musical number about genitalia. It's hilarious.
You should do Joe versus the volcano. Too.
That's a good one. Pretty much anything with Meg Ryan in it is kind of a slam. Well, Meg Ryan of the 90s.
No, I have to look and see what else I picked.
So anyway, this is Lightning Struck Heart. It is based off of a hilarious...
Ever After.
Oh, that's cute. Yeah. Wait, is that the one with Drew Barrymore?
Yes. Okay. Definitely. I mean, that sounds very like, oh my god,
how do you not know this? Yeah, I don't know.
Because we had just gone and saw Beauty and the Beast.
Yes, which was great.
It was good.
So anyway, this is Lightning Struck Heart. It's based on a very funny science fiction sort of male romance kind of mashup. Very funny. And
I would consider it fantasy, not science fiction.
Whatever. Same general. Amazon considers them the same for them. Well, maybe not. I'm a liar. I just don't want Laura to win. So...
Win at what exactly?
I don't know.
Life.
So I haven't cast them on, but I'm about to when Laura starts talking about finished objects because I have none. Also, I have no spinning. So
I have a little bit of spinning, but my wheel's actually over there. So I can't show you the bobbing because it's in progress. But before that, I do have finished objects. I have Flintstone socks, y'all. So these are my Flintstone socks. They were True Afterthought heels that were cut. And that's about it. So on size zeros, 64 stitches, just zipped up. I used a modified Russian bind off because that is the bind off of choice for me. And I have not washed them yet because I am going to do, while you're here, I figure we could do that experiment where we spin out one and don't spin out the other.
Mm-hmm. Let's see
should we hang them to dry? Because that's how I typically hang my socks, or should we lay them flat?
I really don't know. I mean, I think you're going to get a more significant difference if you hang them than if you lay them
out flat.
And I think most sweaters are laid flat, which is what the original point was to discuss.
It was. That was the original point. But there could be much more.
Stop arguing with me.
So the Flintstone socks are done, and we're going to play that game, which is very, very cool.
For those of you who don't know,
because you might have missed.
We start and don't finish a lot of sentences because we know what we're thinking, and we assume you know everything we've ever said. And God bless you if you do. But
so last week we were discussing with blocking of sweaters if it would make a difference if they were blocked wet with the water squeezed out gently, with more water staying versus spin dried, and how that would affect it. So someone in the board who is lovely suggested socks because they're already
small
done.
And easy, and they're identical prior to.
Yeah, it's the same yarn. And they're already done, and we don't have to swatch them.
But are they already done?
They're already done. Sherry done that. All right, so that is my finished object. I'm excited to wear them too. Afterthought heel socks are kind of my jam, so that is very cool. What I am spinning, I wish I was spinning more. I kind of lost some mojo, and I actually do need to spin some more. But this came in the mail, so this kind of reinvigorated my mojo. I told Leslie earlier that the colorway name was Troll Princess, and it's Goblin Queen. I was so close. So I'm spinning some batlings from Haldley Hoy. She had an update, and these ones are very different from one another. So what I'm doing is there's 7 of them all together. Here's 4 of the 7. So I've spun 3, and I'm just doing one big. I'm spinning them on the Lendrum upright. And I'm just going to do one bobbin, and I'm spinning them. Even though they're a woolen prep, I'm spinning them worsted, so taking the air out and making them a little bit stronger. And I am going to then Navajo ply them. So what I'm hoping won't happen is because there's a lot of colors kind of going on. When I'm spinning them, they're kind of melding out. So it looks more, it doesn't have like clean lines of color. So if I Navajo ply, I'm hoping really I should just leave them as a single if I want to keep that kind of cool color combination going on. But I think Navajo plying will do the same thing for me, hopefully. We're going to try it and see. So I have 4 of these left to spin. And then I'm going to go back to spinning for Patreon and SSK winners. But I kind of needed like a cleanser project where if I spun it super crappy, it would be for me and no one would care.
Or it was just something you really wanted and you wanted it for you, and that's okay too.
Yeah, but I also needed a cleanser project because I've been working on the silk, which is still going on the Ladybug, the Tessa silk waterweed. So that's just taking a lot of time. And I was playing on the country spinner too, but I didn't finish what I was just doing a bits and bobs from Hello Yarn. But anyway, so a little bit of spinning's gone on this week, but not a ton. Hopefully I will finish waterweed. I'll ply that and the other one that I have to ply, and then start a new Patreon spin this week.
Yeah, we don't have our Patreon report yet, so we can't pull winners
this week, but we will
next week, yeah.
Excellent. We do have a book to review. It is an itty bitty book, y'all. This is Stripes. It is a Mason Dixon Field Guide #1. One of the questions that we got a couple months ago, one of the critiques, maybe? I don't like using the word critiques because it comes off as negative. But I think it's got a negative connotation with it. Oh. But one of the things people asked for were, there's a lot of little like magazine type books coming out. And people were asking if we could review a little bit more of those. And when I was up at Hidden River, outside of Philly, it's a lovely shop. They had this, so I went ahead and picked it up. So I purchased this. It retails for $15.
For the paper copy.
For the paper copy, and $9 for the Ravelry digital download, and includes 3 patterns and some really cool essays. So...
And this is by the Mason Dixon ladies.
It is by the Mason Dixon ladies. There is a free digital download when you buy the print version. I feel like that's important to say. Mm-hmm. So this one focuses on stripes. the very first thing, and it's got gorgeous photographs. Although I feel like this cowl, it's hard to see. That's the first picture.
Breton cowl.
So it's a striped cowl. And you can kind of see that version. And it reminds me a lot of Mason Dixon's aesthetic. They do a lot of garter stitch. They're known for their log cabin blankets. But those are the two pictures. And I wish there was a picture of it kind of laid out so I could see it a little bit better. But it is like one-page directions, which I always appreciate as well. So I think that's going to go on my needles at some point. It does use Drift by Shibui. So it's around a worsted weight. Actually, it's a fingering weight held doubled.
Cool.
So that's a good way to use up a bunch of... So 2 colors of fingering weight held doubled.
Yeah.
And they have used like the half skeins too. The 110 yard skeins. There's an article in here about the Breton stripes. And this is actually something that Elizabeth Zimmerman knit. And then it went to a fashion photographer in New York and they made it into... It was supposed to be like a cowl or a scarf. And it became this thing.
Wow.
Which is really, really interesting. And it talks about how it's the reworking of an old idea, thin stripes against a larger background. It's an interesting article. Squad Mitts by Ann Weaver, I think, is my favorite. And I kind of want to, where they have like the colors listed, I think that'd be cool with buttons. Like a little button there.
Oh, I thought those were buttons.
Yeah, they're not.
Oh.
They're the numbers, but I think it would be cool if they had little buttons where that changes. Yeah. Again, great for leftovers. They have 2 different sizes, small and medium, and it uses hazelnuts. So if you have like half skeins of, you need 25 yards and then 75 yards.
Very doable.
So 25 of B and C, no, 25 of A, 75 of B and C, and then 15 yards of D. So really, really doable. Great for using up leftovers for sure. And they go into jogless stripes on the side.
Always appreciated in a stripe book.
They talk about freestyling with lace stripes and Euroflex linen, which is really interesting. And then there's a station wagon blanket that Leslie's oohing and awing about with the puppy. This is by Mary Jane Mucklestone. Again, very Mason Dixon aesthetics. So I think if you like the Mason Dixon books, you'll like their field guides as well. I think they have 2 out.
They're very affordable.
Oh, yeah. This uses Lamb's Pride. And they also use a lot, like you could do this out of stash too. Very easily. So there's a lot of stash busting type patterns in here as well.
Stripes in general are great for stash busting.
I would agree with that, but look at that. I mean,
it is very beautiful.
It's
the colors
gorgeous.
they've chosen.
There's going to be a bazillion ends to weave in. They say warning, signs of blanket sickness, because they knit a lot of blankets. But they do have an awesome eye for color. There's also a recipe for a magic cake.
Which is mostly sugar. Just putting that out there.
I'm totally on board with that. And that is it. So it's a little, like, 3 patterns, but if you're buying especially just the digital for $9, I think it's super affordable. Oh, yeah. And I think we should get the other one in the digital version. We'll have to look and see. Because, well, you know, House of Yarn might sell them. We'll have to see. For sure. So that is the Mason Dixon Fields Knitting Fields Guide number 1. And that is stripes. And it retails for $14 on in print, or $15 in print, and then $9 for the digital download, $14.95 in print. Okay? I have not read anything substantial this week. I've been doing a lot of CEUs and conferences. So I'm going to let Leslie talk about all the stuff that she's been reading about this week.
I haven't read a ton, actually. I mean, I've listened to a lot. I did read the first in a 14-book series called Dark Lover. It's a J.R. Ward.
Yeah.
I was kind of underwhelmed by it. So,
I bought up to, like, book 5, and then I was done with that series.
Yeah, I bought the first one, and I'm done with it. Like, there's too much going on.
There is, and it's not like there's not happily ever after endings.
And you know, that's while that's appreciated, I can live without it, but I just felt like the author was trying to do too many side stories, and it sort of left the main characters kind of cardboard a little.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was worth reading, but I won't continue to read it.
Might be a good library selection.
Yeah, that could be. And then I did just start a new book called Thimblewinter, which is the first in a series. I think there's 3 in that series. And it's... I'm still, like, only 10% into it, so I'm still not quite sure exactly what's happening. But there is magic and sorcery and that sort of things. More on that next week when I know what it is I'm listening to.
Okay.
But I have been listening to a really good series, which was recommended by Carrie, Jelby.
Oh, Raven Cycle.
The Raven Cycle, yeah. She saw that I had a book on my want to read list on Goodreads, and so she texted me and was, telling me about the books. So I started...
She really likes those.
I started listening to them on Audible, and I'm already into the second book. It's really good. I've gotten to the point now where I hesitate to read or listen to any book that's sort of centered around teenage characters, because I just feel a little weird, like I'm in my 30s and I'm reading about teenagers and it's not part of my job.
Whereas that's part of my job. But I haven't read the Raven series. I just haven't purchased it from my library yet.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you why. It's just... I don't have a lot of fantasy-loving children.
There's a lot of cursing in it, so
yeah.
I'm not certain that it's something that you could get.
And is that the one with seances, too?
It has a lot of... well, I haven't gotten to a seance yet,
okay.
But one of the main characters' entire family are psychics. So they do tarot readings and stuff like that. So they may do seances, but I haven't gotten to that point
I've
yet.
had a couple, concerns expressed by parents in the past about stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So unless a child specifically requests it, I tend to...
Yeah, this one's got way too much cursing in it. One of the characters is the anti-hero, so to speak.
Yeah. Does it have an unreliable narrator?
I don't know what that means.
Where the narrator could not be telling you the truth, either by their own choice or just because of their outlook on life?
No, because it's one of those that switches point of views. But again, it's really good. I've been listening to it while I'll segue right into favorite things. Before we went to Portland, Laura's mother kindly brought me a giant loom. For those of you who might be curious, it is an AVL.
It is.
Modular fold-out 8-shaft wheel that can go up to 10 shafts.
And it's at least 31 years old.
It was purchased in 1983.
Mm-hmm.
According to she brought me the original manual, which is great because apparently it was one of the first consumer looms that you could get with a computer. It was called a CompuDobby. And in the paperwork, it's the recommended computer was an Apple II. That's what it... And Michael was so excited. He was like, does she have that?
Does the Apple II come with it?
And I was like, no, she didn't get the computerized model. But it's... The drawback to having, I'm super grateful because it is a wonderful gift and it can weave all kinds of crazy things that I'll probably
weave full blankets.
Will never get to. Yeah, and crazy intricate patterns. It's got a cloth beam in the back so you can weave yards and yards and yards and yards.
I think she told me it'll hold up to 65 yards of fabric.
Insane.
Yeah.
But the downside is that it was made, 30 plus years ago. There's no YouTube video on how to there are bits and pieces that individuals have put out there.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I wonder if there's an AVL loom group on Ravelry. Have you looked?
I haven't. That would be a good suggestion though. So I've sort of been following the directions, which are sort of like how knitting patterns used to be. They just assume certain things.
Yeah.
And I don't know what some of these things are, but Mama Linneman's been very helpful, when responding when I've asked her questions.
Just invite her down.
But, and I would love that. But I'm just sort of learning, when you wind out your warp so that you can pull them through the heddles, you should probably be longer than the distance to the heddle. I mean, that's just, if you want it to come through, like, that's just sort of things you should do. So I'm learning all of this as I go. But I'm having to do it in bits and pieces because it's in a room without a lot of ventilation. And again, no air conditioning right now. And I am a bit of a special snowflake and I need my air conditioning. So
I told Leslie because she works from home that she could come work over here in the air with Pearl.
Pearl would love that.
She would. Doubt. You would be her favorite for forever.
But yeah, we're working on getting that fixed. But it has been a fun week. What else is in favorite things?
It was my birthday. Thank y'all for all the birthday wishes.
She's old.
I am not as old as you.
Nope, you never will be.
Nope. Probably never.
Neither will my husband.
Aww. It's funny because I went to a LuLaRoe party. And I don't hang out with my coworkers as much as I wish I could because, they all plan together and I'm kind of off to the side. But I do like a lot of my English coworkers and I do get to see them like every 2 weeks when they bring their kids to the library. But one of them the other day was talking about how like her principal in middle school, who happened to be the principal that hired me. And I was like, when were you at Horn Lake Middle? 2005. Yep. I did not teach her because I was in the classroom at that point, but she was in the building at the same time I was teaching.
So one of the kids from your first year there now works there?
And has for like 3 years.
That's awesome.
Like, it's not like she's a brand... That's what makes it even worse. She's not even like a first-year teacher. She's like a third-year teacher.
That's great.
And then at the autism conference, I ran into 3 kids that I taught because it was Graceland, which I didn't even know this, and I feel like I should have. But I live under a rock. Graceland added this huge resort to the side of it called Graceland Guest House. It's the largest hotel that's been built in Memphis since 1920 when the Peabody was built. And it's huge, and it would be an awesome place to have a knitting retreat. It really would, because they have like all these small rooms, except there's nothing around it but areas in which you would not want to walk.
Yeah, there are some
Graceland,
some very unfriendly parts of Memphis,
and that would be one of them. Yeah. Like Graceland is not in the best area of Memphis, unfortunately, because now there's this $1 billion hotel that's gated to get in and out of, and parking's it also costs to park, which I don't know why that's such a big deal for me.
Yeah, it's not something that here for all of you eternal city dwellers. I never go anywhere that doesn't have its own parking lot, and I don't have to be choosy for that to happen. Like,
yeah, that's true too.
Even downtown Memphis, which is about a 20-minute drive, there's still an abundance
of parking garages,
and there's free parking.
I mean,
you'll
pay. Yeah, there's free, and you can pay to be in any of the garages. Speaking of which, Redbirds, which is the farm team for St. Louis, have started their season.
It's AAA, right?
Yeah,
baseball.
So we should go sometime. Yeah. Like, tickets are like $10.
That's
so
fun.
We should go
before it gets scorching.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, it's 70 out now, so that would be a good time. 70 to 80.
Yeah.
So this would be a good time. I think they play Thursday night, actually.
Kobe would like that.
Yeah.
I'm game for that.
I think that'd be fun. Now that the hockey season is over. So.
We are finalizing some details for our 7-year anniversary kits.
I cannot believe it's been 7 years.
Yeah, technically we already hit that date.
Oh,
it was March something, the late March. I want to say it was the 20 something.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think so. But so we've been doing this for 7 years. We're about to start our 8th year of doing this podcast. And we've always said we'll continue to do it until it stops being fun.
Truth.
So we thank you guys for hanging in there with us. But
yeah.
We are doing a fun anniversary kit.
We've never done an anniversary kit before, but 7 years is the wool anniversary.
That's what the internet says.
So I think it would be fun.
Yeah.
So we have yarn and a bag and some other goodies.
Some little,
picked up.
and we're going to spend the rest of the week finalizing the other little things, and then we'll have a price for you guys, for those of you who want it, and it's totally optional. It's, we're limiting the number. It will be somewhere around 100 because, we have to pay for all these things up front, and then we basically sell the kits to you guys, and then we'll have to do shipping and all. Anyway, it takes a lot of effort to put them together, and while we don't mind that,
no,
I don't want to do 1,000 of them.
Truth.
So we're gonna limit them, but we'll give you guys at least 2 weeks notice before we put them on sale. We'll talk about it on the podcast. We're not going to announce. I don't know. Should we announce what's in the kits before we sell? I guess that would be fair.
Let's do that
because you're
I think
shelling
that's
out
fair.
money for it. Yeah. And I would hate for somebody to get something that they don't want.
But if you don't want to know, then you could just not watch. We'll put it at the end of the podcast. So if you don't want to watch it, and you want to be surprised, you can totally do that too.
Yeah. And all of the intelligent rights or whatever. What is it called when you have like creative property? Intellectual property.
Yeah.
For the yarn colorway and the bag design and all that, stay with the makers. So
if they want to offer it later, they can.
Yep. Yeah, we don't like to restrict the people who are actually creative. So I think that's about it for this week. You have anything else?
No, thank you again for the birthday wishes, everyone. That was super sweet. I think that's about it for this week.
You want to say goodbye, Pearl?
Pearl? Oh, we woke the baby.
Come here. You want to say goodbye, Pearl?
No, you can't see.
Bye, Pearl. Say bye-bye. Bye-bye.
All right.
All right.
Bye, y'all.